With John Wick Chapter 3, we obviously now have 3 films in the John Wick franchise, so let's rank these films from worst to best. Hey everybody, my name is Justin and I love to watch movies. If you guys love to watch movies, so you guys are in the right spot, consider hitting that subscribe button down below so you guys don't miss any of my up and coming videos. Today we're going to be talking about all 3 of the John Wick films and rank them from worst to best. Now, there's no worst John Wick film. They're all amazing, but with these ranking videos, we got to pick a worst one. Before we do that, leave your comment down below on how you would rank all 3 of these films, with John Wick Chapter 1, 2, and the new one, Parabellum. So, enough talking, let's get started. Coming in at number 3 is John Wick Chapter 2. John Wick Chapter 2 was a great follow-up to the very first John Wick film. John Wick 2 offered many moments that I loved from the first film, but expanded it. The first film wanted to introduce more of that secret world that John Wick lived in, and the second film got to introduce more of that and expand on it. The sequel introduced many characters that played a big part in the world that John Wick lived in, and this is where some of the issues lie in the film. Since there were so many different characters and different storylines that played into this film, I feel like some of it weighed it down. There were also a few scenes that dragged and weren't as impactful as I thought they were. The film still managed to bring heavy action scenes and a lot of violent scenes throughout the movie. The movie also did a good job of connecting the first film and building up the events from the previous film into this movie. It's a movie that's still really crazy, but there weren't as many scenes that I loved compared to the first film. Coming at number 2 is John Wick. I consider John Wick to be one of the greatest action movies of all time. When John Wick was first released, it blew people's minds. The action, the violence, and choreographed fight scenes were outstanding. The film introduced us to John Wick with a simple, more personal story. This film is literally set up because John Wick's dog dies and he wants revenge. And then John Wick is thrown back into the world that he lived in 5 years before that, but he got himself into something much bigger. He never gave up, and he always wanted to kill somebody because of this dog, and that's one of the reasons I love John Wick, is because he loves his dog so much, and he never gives up. He's always fighting, and this guy can just be beaten down and he'll get back up and he'll fight. The action scenes are some of the best action scenes I've ever seen. The club shootout scene stands as one of the best scenes ever in this film. They are so adrenaline pumping, and the filming was masterful. You could tell that this film wanted to explore more of the world that John Wick lived in, but it focused on its character first before introducing that into the second film. And coming in at number 1, the best John Wick movie is John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. I was honestly expecting this one to come at number 2, maybe number 3, but this film blew my mind. The action scenes are above the first and second movie. The way that they built this world is something that was building in the first film, and those consequences from the first and second film are playing out in this movie. From the very opening sequence to the end, this film is very suspenseful. It's urgent. It's always running. It's very quickly paced. Despite a 2-hour runtime, it's always something that is going. And Halle Berry in this movie is great. There's some horses and some dogs, knives and some books. Everything in this movie involved makes it for a really intense film. And there's many times where I thought literally John Wick would die and this would be the end of the trilogy, and it'd be that. I literally thought that many times. But this movie is going to continue because John Wick is absolutely crazy. Throughout the movie, I was always wondering, how are they going to top that previous action scene? And they did that with knives and books and people dying and people that are on par with John Wick or even better. But he always manages to get out of it and use and utilize his environment. It's crazy to watch. There's so many fast action-paced scenes with a horse and a motorcycle on a closed bridge. So many cool scenes. I was way more involved with this movie than I was with the first film. There were so many cool action scenes compared to the first film, and the end is absolutely crazy. John Wick Chapter 3 is easily the best one out of all 3. Definitely check it out if you have not already seen it. If you have not seen 1, check it out. If you have not seen 2, check that film out. All 3 of them are great. It's hard for me to say that number 2 is the worst film when all 3 of them are just like perfect films. But there you guys have it. All 3 films ranked worst to best. Thank you guys for checking my ranking video for all 3 John Wick films ranked from worst to best. How would you rank these films? You guys can check out my review for John Wick Chapter 3 right over here. My name is JustinWatchesMovies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.